Hey, welcome into this SBA EIDL Loan Update 2024 on this 60-day Goodwill exception period on all COVID EIDL loans and PPP loans under $100,000. What does this all mean? How does it work? What is the future outlook of these two programs? As well as what are all the business funding options that I can look at that make sense for me, especially for 0% interest funding for startups and non-startups. You will want to stick around for that. In a second, I will get into the share screen to go over all of this with you. But before I do, if this is your first time watching me, my name is Michael, and I've been a business funding expert, a business loan broker expert for many years now. I know my stuff. I know who are the best lenders, the best lender for you to go to get a look from, or lenders, the organization and organizations, and all of these different options from credit to cash flow, collateral, liquidity, equity, and so much more. And if you're wondering, has the COVID EIDL loan application opened up or will I be further processed? And the answer to that is no. So not at this moment. There's not a lot of activity building up. Right now, it's an extension of the hardship accommodation plan. So I'm going to be covering this right now. Let's get into the share screen. Up here in the headline, you see it says Small Business Administration announces further action to help PPP and COVID EIDL borrowers. The SBA introduces, and they have introduced, the 60-day Goodwill exception period that expands the hardship accommodation plans. Now, I won't go into this right here on the hardship accommodation plan. I made a video on that not too long ago that I'll try to link you to down below. But this is a great thing because a lot of people are having a hard time with their repayability, making their payments on time, being on the right payment plan, how much they have left. I understand how we're still in a treacherous market and how a lot of businesses are suffering due to cash flow. It's not that you can't find a way to grow and expand and that it isn't the right time, but you don't have enough cash flow, operational, free investments, and in other ways, cost of goods sold, things are rising. Your revenue could rise, but so does your expenses, or expenses are going over. You don't have enough margins. Average order value hasn't increased, or it's not in the best position. The lifetime gross profit value, your ROI, you're not meeting that and those needs. There's so many problems right now. And for those of you that can grow and expand, great. You have a pattern or you understand that this can be applied more effectively and not just due to the economic instabilities. There's a lot of other traits that you already have in the business that allows you to flow much more, quote unquote, easily and smoothly. So down here, published on January 5th, 2024, Washington, the U.S. Small Business Administration, as we know, the SBA, has announced expanded flexibility and accommodations for COVID EIDL and PPP borrowers to help bring them into compliance and avoid the repercussions of defaulting on a government loan. So right now, with all of their procedures set in place, they're out there helping people like you. If you have an EIDL loan, a PPP loan, and you really did need that help, how can I pay this back? How can I do this? With everything that's been happening, especially in the past, deferments, pausing, giving extra months of breathing room. Here you have a 60-day Goodwill exception period that started on January 1st and is lasting through March 3rd of 2024. So it doesn't give you that much space, of course, 60 days, but it gives enough breathing room and space, especially for the administration and from their point of view, to make sure they're giving as much government assistance as they can during this period. So during it, the SBA will build on its extensive outreach to affected businesses to ensure that PPP borrowers know how to apply for forgiveness, and COVID EIDL borrowers are aware of all the repayment options, including the opportunity for hardship repayment plans. So right now, it's like this whole, let's get you accommodated to understanding how all of this works and situated, how you can look at this in your back office and make sure you have the right setup and how it's tailored to you. And all of this is taken care of. So further, the SBA will refrain from escalating collections activities until after the Goodwill exemption period. So there's been a lot with the collections. I don't know if you've been hearing a lot of that. I've been releasing content on this too. But going after those who can't pay, people that are in collections, then you get into this whole delinquency or default stage through all that in collections. And it's just something big and massive right now that they're focused on and going after people. And then for not using it for the right, there's so much more that I can get into the subject, but I'm not going to do that in this video. And so here you see it says small business borrowers in delinquency or default who take action and obtain good standing with the SBA will improve their long-term financial health to sustainability, substantially, excuse me. You can say that. And so right now their focus too is on the measures of those who are in delinquency or in default as borrowers. So there are many, it's a long list, and helping those who really need it and are far beyond working on those and understanding how to bring a common ground so you can actually come back up by building the foundation again. So the benefits of getting and staying current on SBA loans include better credit scores. That's not a shocker or anything new. If you've tried to get other types of funding, you would know that, especially if you've come through me, which make it cheaper and easier to buy a home or car in the future. So it's not just how can we improve your credit to help you go get a business loan or something better for EIDL later on if anything ever were to open up. It's how can we assist you so you can better your own personal life or a business car or a vehicle with your business credit later on if you decide you wanted to have that, or if you already do or working towards it. That's another aspect, and that's what I help people with too on building their business credit. It all starts off with your credit. Having very low credit in this market does not help you. A lot of lenders are, ooh, I've seen so many and I've helped out so many where in a different market, their offers would have been so much higher, but now it's like reduced by like 100 to 200,000 a lot of the times, 50, more than 50% of it, because lenders are shying away due to credit issues, because of the market, because of the industry. So take care of your credit. And if you need help with this and you want to get the premier credit taken care of for you with Metro 2 disputing and all these other things, credit analysis and much more that's effective, down below in the description, one of the links will send you into my credit repair superior help page or something similar. So you can understand that. There might be a separate video you can watch. Click a button, then you can go over there to fill out some simple details, and then I'll be able to get back to you there via email and go over things on what you input. So that'll be down below in the description. And also, if you need an alternative for funding, I'll leave this down below in the description. It says, get the funding your business needs fast with the help from a real expert and yours truly. Please select from the two buttons below to fill out the right funding questionnaire. So you'll select from one of the two. And this page will look like this. Maybe it changes over time. As you can see, some of the results I've already helped people. There are many more. I just put a handful there to learn more about myself. And then up here, you see how plus you can get a free 6-step pre-approval lending or funding checklist and 900 plus exclusive free grant document list too. More or less 900 being up to date. So you're just not having to go everywhere and anywhere, look at every single video or, oh, here's another catch or here's another dopamine hit that I might not even go get approved or even apply for. And so that's what ends up happening. If you get yourself into this hamster wheel grant after grant and you haven't really received or taken action or it's not enough, like there's that. And then there are additions to it if you qualify for other sources. So if you go through here, select from one of the two. So if you're a non-startup, if you're a startup with less than 3 months, maybe the format changes over time and you see it. But here, from what I've built, here you see all this. And so I won't go through all of this, but make sure you read it. Very punctual about my energy and time. And so your name all the way down here to please describe your financial needs here. Like what's the major problem you're dealing with? What would you like to get resolved? The obstacles, the roadblocks, questions. What's my ROI, cash flow projection? There's those things, business operations. Please let me know that down below there and you'll see more here. So you can do that also with the other one on the startup. So coming back to this part, what we already went into, so you can see small business borrowers, again, in delinquency or default who take action and obtain good standing with the SBA will improve their long-term financial health sustainability. Or I always like to say that instead of substantially. The benefits of getting and staying current on SBA loans include better credit scores, like I mentioned before. I just wanted to make sure we're here again, which make it cheaper and easier to buy a home or car in your future. Eligibility for future government financial assistance, like a VA loan or help after a natural disaster, and in some cases, avoidance of federal and private collections activities, which can include withholding tax returns on wage garnishment. I spoke about this subject some time ago. I won't get into it right now, but what you get from all of this said is improving your credit can help you in many of these different areas. So it all starts with your credit, but even before your credit, keep in mind this, that not only am I a funding expert, but I've been a digital entrepreneur for many years and I've built out other businesses. And the one thing that I've learned amongst my whole journey building these is it's all about your mindset. It's all about your personal growth, your personal transformation, your routine, your habits up here, your personal development. And I'm not a guru. And it comes down to your characteristic traits. Personality, it can come down to confidence, certainty, being loyal, being trustworthy, reliable, having integrity, a lot of these different things. And when you look at to also like egotistical, cocky, naive, stubborn, arrogant, those are things also to be cautious of. And so characteristics can be the part that plays the major foundation, which it is your beliefs, your fears, those things that maybe don't align. Maybe it's a pre-programming. Maybe there's a myth or a misconception that needs to be aligned. And having that aspect built first, then it helping your credit and having the right core values, vision, and mission in life, your virtues, speaking to who you are as a person first, and then in your business and or businesses. So we see that there for PPP borrowers. Hundreds of thousands of PPP borrowers can avoid default. And there again, we're getting into the default, like we spoke a little bit about the EIDL a little bit earlier, and the repercussions that come along with it without repaying the loan. Those who have met the payroll, this is very important. So if you've met the payroll requirements, you can simply complete the PPP forgiveness application. So I won't click that now, which takes most borrowers less than 15 minutes. If PPP borrowers are insured if their loan has been forgiven, you can then check by logging into your My SBA loan portal. Once logged in, borrowers will see all of their SBA loans. And if you have that, you already know where all this is. Great. If you're not keeping track of it and what's happening currently, go do it, please. It's like when I tell people, oh, well, they want an SBA loan, they want an SBA 7A 504 loan. Like, what's your business credit like? I don't even know what business credit is. Or I should have something good. Or I don't know. How do I check it? And I thought I've been building it, or I should be building it. And so what you don't monitor, you don't know. And how do you keep track of these things to improve them, to change them, to do better? Not all lenders look at business credit. I'll have some recommendations here soon, but with SBA loans, bank loans, those things are important. E-scores within the range, within it, within the lender's criterion box. Like I've helped a lot of people improve their business credit, start their business credit. I've done this for myself, for a lot of other companies. You just got to realize that that's most important. When you build your business credit through vendor credit, trade credit, with a lot of this, like Uline, Granger, then you get into retail credit, Amazon store credit. There's a lot for fleet credit, gas credit, all of this stuff. That's important. Might not be direct money in the account, cash on hand, but that's one thing you should be building. And then on top of that, there's like 0% interest credit cards, which I'll be getting into here soon. So please stick with me. But you can also click on here if you decided to, and the SBA PPP Direct Forgiveness portal. You can go through all of that right there. Register to start your request. And then back here, the My SBA loan portal. When I click there, it'll bring you to this page, or you can go there directly and you can see that for the Paycheck Protection Program, the COVID EIDL, disaster assistance loans, and what you would get from here. View and make payments towards your SBA loans, and it's giving you a rough draft of what it would look like. Every person's SBA loan portal looks different though. So if you go there, that's one thing. Now, if I come back here, once logged in, you will see all of this with your SBA loans, including PPP loans, and the status of each loan. For PPP loans, the status will show paid in full if the PPP loan has been then forgiven. You might already be aware of that. PPP borrowers who are not sure if their loan has been forgiven and see other statuses should apply for forgiveness immediately. See the SBA website for instructions on how to apply for PPP forgiveness. So I'm not going to cover all of this, but you see right here, borrowers who need assistance with forgiveness can contact. There's the information there for the SBA. All COVID EIDL borrowers must repay their loans, but the SBA has programs to help, including the expanded hardship accommodation plans, which we're going through more or less now. COVID EIDL hardship accommodation plans significantly lower monthly payments, sometimes as low as $25 per month for 6 months, and then payments gradually increase over a multi-year period. And this might be stuff already you know. That's why I'm not covering it all right now word for word, but you see that there. For assistance for all borrowers, the SBA offers free or low cost counseling for small businesses through its national network of resource partners. You can see all of that right there. So that's the EIDL loan again. And so what I'm going to transition to are what are other options? Well, for one, there are microlenders. And I might leave an individual review on SBA microloans down below in the description, but as low as like 500 more or less credits. You obviously want to have more to try to get more in abundance and be in good rapport. It's like going to a bank, but this is a bit different with an SBA microloan situation. And you're trying to see credit. And if your credit isn't in position or a business loan or a line of credit, there's a lot of things that can arise to decline you. And so list of microloan lenders and just 500 plus credit more or less, and having a business plan with projected revenue plan for the next 2 to 3 years. Those are important. There could be mentoring within this. And then there's quite a bit more to go through. So anything from like just startup to about 2 years is generally it that can be focused on personal guaranteeing it or collateral or a personal guarantee and or. So there's those involved too. So I might leave this down below in the description, or I can share it with you over time. And then participating microloan lenders. So you can see right here in the States. So if I were to select mine and I go over here to Washington, click on that filter, you can download it into a CSV too. So depending on your business, depending on your state, there's a lot of stuff. So name, Mercy Corps, where's the territory, the contact information, New Roots Fund. So I can click on here and this will open up an external window. And then I can go in here and learn more about the micro lender and see if it's available for me to go through and the contact information. That's how they're going to leave it to you and how you can send them that. And that's how it normally works with a lot of these other places you might see and apply here first and then the next part of contact. So Oregon Association of Minority Entrepreneurs Credit Corporation, in Washington, the Rural Community Development Resources. So I can click here and then go through all of this and learn more. You can go through their navigation, their partnerships, their contact eventually is what you'll end up doing. But what you're doing here is you're learning more about what's current, and they can release updated information just so you know. But that's all there. Now, another option you can take if let's say you are a complete startup or even as a non-startup. So I have this sketch pad over here. I really want to quickly show you what I want to put on here. So everything has a foundation. I'm putting what I call a value ladder or a value asset ladder. At the very top here, normally you have the SBA loans. These are the most coveted program, hardest to qualify, depends on each client, but there are a lot of contingencies, especially in this market. And so the SBA loan can be used for a wide variety of reasons. 7A, you have the 504, you expand on the startup, but startups normally you see 25 to 30% equity injection is what you need to have and enough capital to see you through. And so not to wipe out everything that you have cash on hand, how will you get this equity injection for a down payment, for closing, and for other means? And at times it can be 10% depending on your experience level. But there's so much added into this that it's hard for a complete startup to go in and get involved with that. And how you use the funds, a lot of it for working capital, which most people do, growth and expansion, having the right reason. And I can cover that with my lender and lender sources. So SBA 7A, I won't cover all of that. I won't cover every one of these right now. I might leave information down below. But fill out that questionnaire that I showed you earlier. So the SBA 504, the 7A program, 8A mentoring, the Capline program, then the 7A and more. There's quite a bit. The Community Advantage program, there's a little bit there. Veteran assistance programs, especially with the SBA Community Advantage. It's not always as helpful or can help just anybody and everyone. But those things also change with those community advantage outreach programs and CDCs. And there's so much more that I'm not even listing right now that you can go through. Microloans, as I said earlier, peer-to-peer lending. There's quite a bit more. And again, not to just start naming all of them, but you see with community development programs and all this other stuff. So there's that. And then over here, you have the bank loans, BL. There's online bank term loans. So not just your Chase, your Bank of America. I help out people who are online bank term loan lenders, or I'll help you connect you with them. And then also just bank term loan lenders who are in better benefit. Maybe it's not the needs you need to meet over here. They don't understand your needs. There's so much that can happen. Maybe it's the relationship. You're better off over here to get more, the underwriting process, streamline, the technology, the amount, the relationship, having another account, or if it's a non-banking lender, there's a lot of other stuff like that. So you have that. The line of credit is usually what you'll see right there. And there can be little subsets of a lot of this stuff. And then over here, you get the collateral. So this can be asset backed. And here now you're looking at all of the account receivable financing, inventory financing, heavy equipment financing, could be cash out refinances, including equity involved with this. Over here, you might just see some UCC liens, maybe not fully collateralized, 80% and more. Over here, the SBA, you start to see collateralization. Other ones, they wouldn't take it depending on the lender and depending on what you bring to the table and how much assurance that they have just off of your cash flow and the performance of your business and the assets involved place a UCC lien. But a lot of the times you'll see collateral coverage, real estate account receivable being the most coveted and the one that they want most of a lot of the time. So collateral, there's so many other ones with collateral on commercial real estate. If you do an equity cash out refinance with that or any kind of investment in real estate that you own, there's other forms of asset backed funding, and I'm just giving you a good view of what is out there. And so you can also look at like 401k in a sense in your assets and a rollover, IRA 401k business rollover into working capital accounts. So we can look at that. That's another instance, and that can work for startups and even non-startups. It's common when people get together in a business that they come together with their own accounts or just one account to help fund the business. So here, there's collateralized. And then over here, you have what's called the revenue. And as we get lower, it doesn't necessarily mean it's less, but revenue, cash flow backed, that's what you would hear it. There are other words for it, but this is based upon the performance is equal to the CF, which is equal to the revenue, your cash flow, your revenue, everything coming into your account and accounts. I look at a lot of that stuff when I review and understanding that. And it is lower document based. So with revenue based, it's just based upon your revenue. No need to put up collateral. You might see UCC liens on your business assets on all multiple businesses. If you have more than one, if the lender best sees fit to do that too, which is a common practice, but no collateral is needed to invest upfront to secure the funds. But it's based upon the performance of the revenue of your business, less about credit. These ones over here, collateral, less about credit to some degree. Usually credit's not looked at. Credit up here, credit up here. Over here, credit does make a difference. So it does factor, but it's not the number one reason. And it's not the reason you get declined with if your revenue is performing more. But if there's something with credit that is an issue, then you could see a decline. So just know that it's based off of revenue. And there's quite a bit. Again, I'm not covering each and every one of these. Now, over here, you get into the startup phase. Startup and microloans, like we went over, 0 to 2 years, community advantage program, quite a bit of that, and even then some. You have SBA loans if you have the right equity injection for the right needs and the right industry. Are you purchasing a business to get an SBA loan for startups? And then you get credit. So I'll say credit, revenue, and then credit. I could have just said startup, but it's including non-startups as well. So let's say credit with this. So it includes startups and non-startups. This is like personal and business combo with a personal term / installment loan, a personal line of credit with like a business credit card or multiple business credit cards, even at 0% interest for the first 6 to 18 plus months, 3 to 4, 4 to 5 cards in one round, more or less. And there's quite a bit of that on the personal side, 0%, but it's ideal to do it on the business side, a combination, or if you qualify for one or the other, both. I'm not going through all the details in this video, but that's an amazing place for startups and non-startups for repayability purposes, 0%, extending the personal loan from 1 to 5 years up to 500,000 more or less, and having that repayability as opposed to revenue backed. If it's more higher risk, it could be shorter term, higher repayability, but just make sure with those that the growth of your business is going up. There's enough ROI, enough margins, and enough units being sold, a lot of this other stuff, because then you can double, triple, quadruple your revenue instead of just fixating on how high the cost is with those. How much are you making for what you have to repay back? If you make more than what you're repaying back, there's benefit there. But for how long, there's all this other stuff you have to look at, cash flow. And if you have to take that to grow, there's that. Now down here, formation of your business. What type of entity are you operating still as a sole proprietor? There's all this other stuff, building your credit score. I could have done that, business credits, everything, the accounts, bank accounts, the entity again. There's so much more. But then even further down here, the foundation is actual the development, personal development, the character, like I went into earlier. I won't expand on that now, but you have a bird's eye view. There are a lot of stuff in between this, just so you know, could have spent a lot of time on each one of these sections, and I've released a lot of content already on this. But that's where I want to leave it at for this video. And I believe I've covered everything in the tabs that I needed to cover. And I think that's where I'm going to leave it at. Let me look in my, okay, yes, I have everything that I needed to for this one. I showed you that, the different list of microloan lenders, what's happening with the SBA EIDL loan. Make sure you stay on time with things. And so if you have any comments, leave them for me down below in the comments too. I'm more than happy to help you out and answer. And I do get quite busy myself in the day-to-day activities, productivity, but I'm here to help you. And like I tell people, if you appear in my inbox, my email, there's a greater chance you will get a response from me and even much quicker. So by doing that, the best place to begin with, again, is to fill out this questionnaire form that I'm going to link you to down below in the description. And if you have, you already know how that works. You've likely already received a response from me. If not, I'll get back to you here in time. And yeah, that's all of that. And I wanted to give you that huge perspective shift that there are options out there, but sometimes you just don't know where to look, or it's not the best option from the best source. You have to be careful of just going anywhere and everywhere. You don't want to do that, shopping your information around. I don't do that. Others will. And even if they don't always give you the best answer. They don't always give you the best offer, all this other stuff that you have to align yourself with. The person who wants to help you as a person with their health and their relationships, carrying and putting yourself in the other person's shoes, like I do for yours all of the time. And so, again, that is everything from me. Go ahead and pick this up if you haven't. More information will be down below in the description to get started, credit repair, business credit building, and a lot more. And if you enjoyed this video, I'd greatly appreciate you giving it a thumbs up. You can share it with others if you wish, not that you have to. That would be great. And if you have not subscribed, I'd greatly appreciate you doing so and clicking the bell notification icon so you do not miss any future content I will be coming out with. That is all for now. Take care.